Please take a seat. So, Shruti, tell the panel about yourself, your academic qualifications, your work experience, if any, and your main hobbies, very briefly.
Okay, sir. So my name is Shruti Sharma. I have been a student of history. I was born in Bijnor, educated in New Delhi. I completed my graduation from St. Stephen's College, and currently I've just started my post-graduation in sociology from Delhi School of Economics. And I am constantly like to learn new things and explore new cultures through language, food, books, and cinema. And I'd like to see myself as an optimist.
So, Shruti, you are a graduate, and you have done MA also in sociology.
I've just started my MA.
Sorry?
I've just started my MA.
You have started this. So, with the Stephens, in your background, and with the Delhi School of Economics, both are so internationally known institutions. I do not know what you had in mind initially, but why civil services?
There are a number of reasons why I want to pursue this profession. Firstly of all, sir, I believe that I have had a certain privileged background, and therefore I always wanted to do something in which I could give back to society in some way and bring about some sort of change in people around me and give other people an opportunity to have the sort of privileges that I have had, sir. Secondly, I believe, sir, that on a personal level, I believe the diversity and the scope that these services provide can be an avenue for great personal growth and an avenue for learning a lot, which it would provide me, sir.
Okay. So, Shruti, you are from Delhi. Now, how the safety of women, the perception about safety of women, has changed over the last, say, about 10 years, ever since Nirbhaya happened?
Yes, sir. So, the Nirbhaya incident was a turning point in terms of the global discussion that happened around Delhi regarding women's safety. So, in a sense, it was the turning point, and a very bad incident set the precedent for a lot of good steps that were taken post that time period. So, a number of steps have been taken since that time period by the union government and the Delhi government in that regard, ranging from the Nirbhaya Fund to certain steps by the Delhi government to increase CCTV coverage and reduce dark spaces, to also increasing scope for better mobility for women, be it in the space of women marshals in the buses at that point. So I think a certain progress has taken since that time period.
Shruti, have you heard of a matter going on, Hindu minority status?
Yes, sir. So I just recently read in the news.
If you can just throw some light.
So, in the limited knowledge that I have currently, sir, about the topic, it is about the authority of the state versus the center in deciding the status of minorities with respect to religion. So there have been certain cases, as far as I recall, sir, such as the TMA Pai case, which talked about whether the minority status can be decided on a state level in terms of religious minorities, or it can only be decided in terms of the central government. So I think that is the issue.
No, but this is primarily related to Hindus being given minority status in those states where they are in minority. Presently, even if suppose in the case of, say, Punjab or JNK, right, where Hindus are in minority, but the actual minority status is given to those who are in majority. Yes. So a PIL is in Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
The center has asked Supreme Court to consider this, that we would like to give minority status to Hindus in those states, yes, which I have mentioned. Now, since I have already given you an idea, what are your views about it?
So, the Constitution of India does protect the status of minorities in India as a whole. And so I believe if for certain purposes and for certain positive reasons, the Supreme Court does decide to give minority status in a particular state to reduce atrocities against certain sections within the state, it can be a positive move.
Viren sir? Question, I'll take it on. You see, the Supreme Court does it. Supreme Court in no way is in a position to stop atrocities. It will only adjudicate a matter in view of the constitutional scheme. What does the Constitution provide? So how do you think it would stop atrocities on minorities, religious minorities at that?
If it can provide in the future a certain safeguards that the minority status can provide and certain special steps that can be taken for minorities in a particular state.
Can you give any example when Supreme Court has provided safeguards, laid down safeguards? You heard of Vishakha's case?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been a student of history?
Yes, sir.
Who do you think, whom would you rate as a foremost historian of the later Mughals period? Who are later Mughals?
So I would say the period after the so-called fall of the Mughals or the decline of the Mughals, so post-Aurangzeb, so would possibly be regarded as the later Mughals.
Beyond Aurangzeb are the later Mughals?
Yes, sir. So which are not considered so high and mighty in the course of their achievements.
Okay. Recently there has been a talk. Certain people feel that there is a need to review and rewrite India's history. What is your take on that?
So I personally believe that the writing and rewriting of history has been a continuous part and parcel of history since time and forever. And I believe rewriting of history is always a positive step. But at the same time, I believe this rewriting should be based on certain facts that history recognizes and the range of sources that history as a discipline recognizes. So if the rewriting is done in that regard, it can only lead to more positive debate and discussion in the long term.
What do you understand by Warsaw Pact?
The Warsaw Pact was a pact signed in 1955 in the context of the Cold War, led by the Soviet Union. It was a security pact formed in the context of the formation of the NATO and an opposition to the NATO, sir.
I have another question from history, on history. What was standstill agreement?
I can't recollect at this point.
Okay. In your resume, I found that you took part in parliamentary debates. Now, how are the at school or college level debates different than parliamentary debates?
Sir, in college there are a number of formats of debate we participated in, ranging from parliamentary debate to conventional debating to turncoat style of debating, and there were a lot of variations there. The structure of the debate is a 3-on-3 format. So while certain positions were the same, such as opposition, leader of opposition, there was a whip speech as well. But I believe the parliamentary debates at school were on a particular topic. They were more structured and within a certain time limit, sir. As